Police found Christopher Duong, Janet Nguyen, and their two young boys dead in a home that we've since learned belonged to their extended family in Prince Rupert. At the time, police said they did not believe there were any suspects and there was no danger to the public. And this week, we've learned RCMP do believe it was a murder-suicide, and that was led primarily by Duong, with police say they believe Nguyen was a willing participant in her own murder. On Monday, we heard Duong was known to police for weapons charges and allegations of drug trafficking and gang activity. We also heard that about a year before his death, he suffered a traumatic brain injury in a very serious car accident. And in the days leading up to his death, he had come to believe his life was in danger and that a hit had been put out on him and his family was at risk. 3 days before he died, we heard this week he was stopped by RCMP as he was driving his family around in an effort to stay out of danger. Police said he appeared paranoid and fidgety, and that his fear was based off of a feeling and couldn't necessarily be corroborated. Duong was taken to the hospital that night under the Mental Health Act, released hours later, and 3 days later, all four family members were found dead. They were found next to each other in the same bed, teddy bears at the children's feet, and the RCMP spoke at length about the deep impact this discovery and the fallout from the tragedy has had on everyone involved.
Now, you've been covering this inquest or the inquest this week. What more did we learn about why he was released?
So Duong's longtime family doctor testified this week, saying he spoke with him before he was discharged from hospital and that he saw no reason to worry about his state of mind. He said he seemed calm and cooperative when he was speaking to him, and there was no reason he could see to keep him in care. But we did hear from police that a search of Duong's phones after his death revealed he'd been searching for information on methods of suicide, how to drop your children off at a fire station, and for plane tickets to leave the area. RCMP also spoke to a family member who indicated Duong did remain paranoid after his release and that he was feeding his fear to his wife, with the pair amping each other up after. The phone search also found the parents had recorded a video will the day of the release outlining what they wanted to happen after they died. And I do want to mention, we did hear testimony from family that both parents did love their children deeply and how Nguyen and the kids would often wait at the docks to greet Duong when he returned home from working at sea with his crab fishing business.
And so, what happens next?
So today we heard from Dr. Barbara Kane, a psychologist with Northern Health. She testified BC needs a new mental health hospital and supports for mental health, particularly in the north. A coroner's inquest is strictly about fact finding, determining what led up to a death and how to possibly prevent similar incidents from happening in the future under similar circumstances. There's a chance there will be more testimony Monday. So a jury that has been listening will deliberate when everything is wrapped up and make non-binding recommendations based off of what they've heard throughout the week. And we will report that when those recommendations are released.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much for this.
Thank you.
That's Catherine Garrett, our CBC reporter in Terrace. You can read her coverage of this inquest on our website at cbc.ca/northernbc. That's cbc.ca/northernbc. If you or someone you know is in need of support, Canada's Suicide Crisis Helpline is available 24/7 by calling 988.